When it comes to creating this shortcut icon so that there's a little image next to my title that says example, I decided to not reinvent the wheel and create a brand new image in Paint for this. I'm going to use this speaker icon that I created already. And it's actually not an ICO file, it's actually, I believe, a ping. So if I go to my Part 5 folder on my desktop, you see example.html, that's my web page code that I'm working with. I have a folder called audio that has my MP3s and OGGs. I have a folder called CSS that now has my external style.css style sheet. I have another folder called JS, which has my action.js JavaScript. And I don't know why that's doing that. I must accidentally hit something. And then I have my folder called images that has all of these little images that I already created in Paint. So instead of reinventing a brand new image for my shortcut icon, I'm going to see about linking to this that I already have. Now this is a 75 by 75 size, and I'm going to see if it works okay by pointing to it. So let's open up my HTML, my example.html web page. This is again how you do that. Link rel equals shortcut icon, href equals shortcut.ico, type equals image / x icon. I want to put the path to this right here. href equals something in double quotes. I'm going to put it here. So from my example file, again in my Part 5 folder, here's my example file. I need to point to the images folder and then point to pinkspeakers.ping. That's what I have to do. So in here, instead of this, point to the images folder / pinkspeakers.ping. Save it and then refresh this page and see my pink speaker came up here. So that's my shortcut icon. Again, why reinvent the wheel and make a brand new icon? This is going to refer to my audio player, so it kind of brings it all together because these code snippets are dealing with audio files and how to incorporate them with your CSS and your JavaScript in your web page. Okay, that was one problem that I solved. The other problem, as you can see, I have my speaker down so I don't get distracted by hearing the MP3 playing, but you can see right here that it is moving, so it is playing. But my default images for the buttons here, they're gone, and they're gone because the path changed. My CSS that gave my default background image for these buttons has been moved. No longer is it in the example.html page, it's in this external CSS style sheet. So when we go here to this line, button, ID play pause button, background, URL, images pause.ping, the play pause button is here. Well, the style, let's see, Part 5 folder, the style.css is inside of this folder. So it's pointing to images pause. That would have to be a folder in here, in the CSS folder called images pause. Well, that's not the direction of the path anymore. We have to jump out of the CSS folder in order to jump into the images folder. And how you do that is you go ... Whoa, that's not a dot. ... So here we're jumping out of the current folder that style CSS is in, and we're jumping into the images folder. So now when I save this, let me move out of that, and I refresh this page, now we have the correct path. We had to jump out of another folder in order to jump into another folder. Now I have to do the same thing for this button, which this over here on the left was the button with the ID of play pause button. Let's move down here. This is what we have to deal with now. Now we have to deal with the button with the ID mute button. And here again the background was pointing to URL straight to the images folder, which we have to jump out of where our CSS is, which is in the CSS folder. So we jump out like this, ... jumping out of that and jumping into the images folder. So let's save that, refresh. Now we have our proper path. So now I have a link that links us to a nice little shortcut icon that has something to do with what our code is discussing and what our web page is. And I've fixed this external style sheet to properly point to where these little images actually are in reference to where everything is at this point, because at this point everything is popping in and out of different folders. Alright, so I just wanted to point that out, and somewhere down the line I'm eventually going to get to the code that Adam Curry posted a couple of years ago that's going to involve the OGG and the MP3 files. Hopefully that'll be next, unless I find something else that I need to fix.